Welcome to Savor the Story podcast, where books and snacks are life. I'm Nicole. This is Vanessa.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the episode where we feel like everything is wrong and we'll figure it out.
And everything is awkward.
Yeah. It's basically our first day for some reason.
Right. I'm in a different room. I have a weird chair. I'm sitting all like scrunched up.
Well, I have a lot of things on my list to talk about before we get into books.
That's good because I have literally nothing to talk about before books.
Really?
I was trying to make my list of things that I had done last week, and it's like 2 things.
Okay. Do you want to tell me your 2 things? Are they things you want to talk about or no?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. We can. So, I guess it's not really a book or a food thing, but
Okay.
I ran my first run of 2025.
Yay!
And I haven't run since.
Oh,
So,
great.
Yes, I was going to run.
Weren't you supposed to do at least like once a month or something?
Well, that was the deal that I made with the friend of the pod.
Oh, that's right. That's
the only
right.
way that he would agree to be friends on Strava.
Yeah. Oh, right.
So, yes. So I'm good through February, but I was going to run again earlier, and then the weather just hasn't been cooperating.
No.
And now that it's kind of mild warm, it's all rain, and you can't run in rain. You
How
can.
fun.
I just don't like to.
Yeah.
So,
No, that sounds miserable.
So,
Well, congratulations. I'm very happy for you.
I know I ran way farther than I thought I was going to run.
Nice.
I thought I was going to get tired really fast and turn around all dejected, but I went like 8 times as far as I thought I was going to.
Good gracious.
I know. I was trying to, I don't know if it's 8 times, but that seems significant.
Fast math. I trust you.
Nice. Yeah. So I was like, I have to start baking. I have my whole thing when we bought this house. I told Mike, so we need a bigger kitchen because I want to do baking. And now we have, I don't know if the kitchen is so much bigger, but there's definitely more counter space and storage space. So now I have to do what I say I'm going to do. So
yeah, it works out like that sometimes.
Yeah. So I sent you a picture of it. The I'm gonna butcher the name, but it's a French dessert, and it's called a cherry clafoutis.
Ooh, so fancy.
So fancy. It's technically, like I said, a French dessert, but I made it for breakfast because this is my life. I do what I want.
That's right.
So I had a little tiny bit. Mike had a whole bunch, and then I micro-dosed the rest of the day.
Yeah, you did finish off. I will put the picture. You'll see it right here. But it was like a large amount. So
yeah, it was it was a pretty big dish, and I pulled it out of the oven at 8:45, and I think it was gone by 11:45.
Yeah.
We are not good at self-control.
No. Was it delicious though?
It was pretty good. So
I
was missing vinegar. I was missing vanilla. I do not use vinegar in my baking. I was missing vanilla, so I just put cinnamon in there, and it's not bad. It turned out pretty good, but it's kind of almost like a French toast.
Okay.
Almost. So kind of how it gets like French toast. If it has a lot of egg, it gets that custardy.
Okay.
So
these are the substitutions that I would not know how to do because I don't know anything about baking. And so when you said cinnamon for vanilla, I was like, that is not something I ever would have thought of.
So normally, I don't know if that's really a good 1-for-1 substitution.
Okay.
But I was like, but I feel like it just needs a flavor. Right.
Okay.
And I have I used to have almond extract and coconut and all these other flavors for when I was doing some deep baking. But I didn't have any of that stuff after we moved, so I didn't have any extract. So I was cinnamon is a flavor.
Okay, that's so terrifying to me, but I'm proud of you.
Yeah, it was a pretty low threat dish to cook.
Okay.
And on top of that, it wasn't, I mean, probably now the most expensive thing in it was the 3 eggs. So,
right.
But it's, yeah, out of all of the French dishes, I haven't tried to bake them all, but like, it seems the easiest.
Okay.
So like, if I'm gonna mess it up, at least it was with the easiest and mildly cheapest, and it's not labor intensive or hard to make, right? So,
is that your snack this week?
Hell yeah, it is.
Good.
I made it. It's my snack. Yeah,
that's right. Yes.
Yeah. Though I did. Later in the week, we did go out to eat we had like a date night. And so we went to a Cooper's Hawk, and there's a couple of them in Ohio, and we've been to them a couple times, but they do this wine club where you get you do like a 1 bottle a month or 2 bottles a month. Well, apparently we've been signed up for the 2 bottles a month for several months.
Okay.
So we got in there and they scanned our card, and she was like, so how many bottles are you guys picking today? Oh my God. We were like, what? And she was like, you have 18 bottles you need to pick today. And
oh my goodness.
We don't need 18 bottles of wine. She was like, no, you have to. So we didn't. I think we came home with 12.
Okay.
Which is still aggressive.
Yes, that is.
Especially considering, I don't want to call it a resolution or even a goal, but something that I said, I'm going to stop drinking as much or as often. So then the next 2 nights I felt like I had to drink a bunch of wine. So
yes, you were forced, obviously. I mean, you've paid for it already, right? So
yes. Yeah,
you might have to.
It's all free to me.
That's right. True.
So
that's funny. Well, I'm glad you were able. Did you pick some good ones?
Yeah, they had some pretty good ones. I picked my sister and my mom are coming to visit in a couple weeks, so I picked some that I thought both of them would like, so that we would have some to some to share when they get here. So
excellent. But nothing there beat out your snack that you baked yourself.
No, I had what was it? Pistachio encrusted some type of fish, white fish, and it was really good. It was delicious, but I mean, it's dinner food.
Okay, so nothing that was
not
worth,
as good as dessert.
Absolutely not. Okay, that's fair. Do you have more to share with me?
I don't. Do you have anything?
Yeah. Well, I don't have anything about my week, but I do have a lot to tell you. So first, can I tell you, this is like literally nothing. It's out of nowhere, but Tim sent me a thing on Instagram and I was like, oh, I need to tell Nicole about this. It was, those like people repost like other people's posts in their like little memes or whatever. This person said, this is a direct quote, so everyone knows. That cinnamon toast crunch milk water the Mexicans be drinking is good as hell. And the person said, you mean horchata? I just thought that was hilarious. The cinnamon toast crunch milk water is what they called it. Okay, sure. Yes.
That's a really good way to describe it, though.
It kind of is, yeah.
Like, because it is cinnamon toast crunch milk, basically. Yeah. But I can see how the water.
Yeah, because it's not as thick usually. Yeah. I just thought that was really funny, and I like how Tim sent it to me like, hey, this is something that you have talked about many times.
And he's correct, and we'll continue to talk about.
Yes, we will.
Spoiler alert.
Yes. Okay, and then all the rest of the things I have to share with you are all book related. Okay. So, first, I will, because you didn't bring it up, I will bring it up. It's a both of us update. Well, it's really a you update because I haven't read it. But this week is his Mortal Demise released. So that comes out on Tuesday. Everyone be on the lookout because soon we will be having a giveaway for both The Last Bloodcarver and his Mortal Demise Owlcrate versions. So as soon as we get the second book in, we will be doing a giveaway for that duology. So keep listening, keep an eye out, all the things.
Yes, I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited about the book and the giveaway. Okay,
great. Yes, I will read it eventually. I just haven't yet. So, but I will have the books.
I know. Because it comes out, like you were saying, and I was like, man, should I wait for Vanessa to read all the books?
No.
Or should I just read it and pretend?
You should just read it. No, I don't want you to wait for me because I don't know when I'm going to read it. So I don't want you to wait. I can't do that to you.
That's so nice.
Yes, I will be nice. Okay, the second book thing is another release. It was a new announcement that I just saw. I will not be reading it, but there might be people out there who are interested in it. And it's part of the Lightlark series. I don't think I'm gonna read it, but because it's 2 new novellas. And the novellas, one is from Grimm's point of view and one is from Oro's point of view. The book actually looks really cool. It's a dual-sided book, so like one side of it is Grimm, and if you turn it over, the other side is Oro. And the cover is like super, super pretty. I'll put a picture in here of it. But it's super pretty, and I'm interested in it in that way, but like I don't know if I'm interested enough to read it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know if it's gonna help the story at all. So apparently it's like about their past. Like they give some insight into their past and stuff like that. But it comes out in September 30th of this year. So
wow.
I know it's available for pre-order. I think I saw it on Amazon or something like that. But I just wanted to bring it up because I know that I might be in the minority of people who like really disliked Lightlark so far. So if you're interested, that's coming and you should go pre-order it. should you so choose.
Right. At least to get a pretty book.
Yes, exactly. It is really, really pretty. So like it, we'll see. I might have FOMO when it releases and then want to buy it. But as of right now, I have no plans of buying it, nor reading it. So there's that. My next bit of book news is a frustration that I have. So I've already complained once about how Goodreads changed how they connect with Amazon, like with the Kindle and how it like updates whatever. Well, it's now bothering me more. So I can't remember why I ended up relinking them again, but for whatever reason, something happened and I was like, damn it, I need them to be linked. So I relinked it and now I'm so frustrated. So if I go into Goodreads and mark a book as complete, like as read.
I know what you're about to say.
And then I go and mark it as finished on the Kindle, it counts as 2 books in your challenge. And I was like, because I went in, I was like looking at my challenge the other day and I was like, there's more books in here than should be in here. So I started doing some digging and I realized that I had 2 books that were done twice. And when you go in and do it yourself, it has a little note on it that says Goodreads shelf. And then when you close it or mark it as complete in your Kindle, then it goes in there and it says Kindle library is the little note. So I went in and fixed it. It is easy to delete. Like I just went and took the Kindle library ones off. But that's really fucking frustrating because like I already marked it complete. Why are you now? The way that they linked them bothers me so much.
Yeah. I don't know what changed with that double linking thing because I don't go in and mark complete anymore.
Okay.
And when I'm reading on my phone, I don't know if I turned it off or it's on now, but it was just toggled on. And when it was on, as soon as I finished it on my phone, it would say complete. And then I would go into Goodreads and I'd be like, complete. Because it wasn't linked in such a way where it would complete in Goodreads, right? So, yeah, I noticed that as well.
Well, they took that away. Now it's automatic, like in your Kindle, because before in the Kindle, I was able to say, like, it would ask me, do you want to mark it as complete on Goodreads? And I would always say no, because I want to do that shit myself. It's like a level of satisfaction when I get to go in Goodreads and be like, I completed this book. I don't want Kindle to do it for me. And now it doesn't do that. It's as soon as you mark a book like done, it automatically sends it to Goodreads. And it's pissing me off.
Yeah, it's really confusing because, like you said, I got into it and I was like, how in the hell do I have 30 books?
Yeah.
There's no way I've finished 30 books.
Yeah.
I didn't, but
now you can at least fix it. You can, at least you can go in and do that part. Okay. And my last book update before we get into stuff, I saved the best for last because I got my German edition books in the mail today.
Yay! This is the best news.
Yes. So I'm going to show them to you on here. So if you're watching the video or if you're not watching the video, go to the video and you can see all the covers and stuff. Okay. So before I show you, I do want to point out I took the dust covers off of them because I want to show you what the actual books look like. All the dust covers look exactly the same. So like it looks exactly the same as the American version. It just is German. So all the dust covers are the same, but the books themselves are beautiful. So all of the US versions that I have up here, when you take the dust covers off, the hard cover is just black. So that is not what these look like. Okay, so this is Fourth Wing.
Oh, that's nice.
That's what the cover of Fourth Wing looks like. And then the sprayed edges. It's so pretty.
That is cool.
Yes, so there's that one. And then that. And then here's Iron Flame.
Oh, that's cool. Are they all dragons?
That's so
cool.
There's Iron Flame and there's the sprayed edge.
I like that one.
So pretty. And then Onyx Storm is
that's cool.
This one with its sprayed edge. So
that one's cool too.
The German
version.
Like
the second.
You like Iron Flame better?
I like that one the most.
They're so freaking pretty. Like, why are the US versions like even if the spray edges are different, like I get that because, different special editions, blah blah blah, whatever. Why are our covers not like this? Yeah, I don't understand why ours are just like plain black. Like, it bothers me because this is beautiful. So I'm gonna need the US versions to step up their game.
Yeah.
To make the covers, like the actual hard covers, like look like this and be beautiful. So that is my request. Because now I'm going to have these on my shelf of books that I cannot understand.
Are you going to get stuff to like display them?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to have them out. So I need to figure out like, maybe I'll make it to where a couple, like 2 of them are with this on the end. And then like the other one has like the dragon showing or something. I don't know, but I'm going to have to make a space like right here.
Yep. All those books are going to have to go.
Yep. They're gone. Because they're so pretty and I love them. And I'm so happy I bought them. I did have a couple of days where I was like, did I really need those? Which the answer is no, I didn't really need them, but I really love them, like especially seeing them in person because they were wrapped in plastic, so I didn't even actually get to see under the dust covers there. I only saw the sprayed edges and I was like, yes, these are cool. So when I took the plastic off and I was like, oh my God, these are amazing.
Best day ever.
Yes. So I'm very excited. And anyone out there, if you want these versions, they're the German versions. I'm sure you can buy them online.
Probably. Yeah.
Yes. So that is all of my news for this week. And the only thing left, I guess I have to tell you, is my snack, which is I had a really hard time because I did pretty well this week with like food and all that stuff. So I think, have you ever had I think you pronounce it Yasso bars? They're like frozen yogurt, like ice cream bars basically. So Yasso bars, the chocolate chip cookie dough. I had one of those every night after dinner as my snack this week. So that's gonna be that's gonna be my rating this week.
Nice. That sounds delicious.
They are pretty good. They're not as sweet as like regular ice cream, but definitely hit like the sweet tooth if you're like looking for a little craving. So that is all. You tell me about your books now.
How many books did you have this week?
I think I'm just gonna do one.
Okay. Well, then I have 3.
I was gonna do 2, but one of them is a my sister book club, and I really want to talk to her about it before I talk about it on here because I have weird feelings about it, like mixed feelings about it, and I need her opinion to know if I should steal it or not.
All right. That's fair.
Yeah, so I was going to do 2, but she just finished the book today, so I didn't have an opportunity to talk to her about it. So,
okay. Well, then fine. I guess you can wait.
Okay, thanks.
So, I read 3 books. I barely read 3 books. I finished my 3rd book. I wasn't trying to. I just happened to not finish it until Sunday night.
Okay.
So, but the first one I'm going to talk about is the continuation.
Yay!
The Rivers of London series.
Yes.
So this one is called The Hanging Tree. Same author, Ben Aaronovitch, and still listening to it on audio. It is police procedural, fantasy, paranormal. And I think this is book 6.
Okay.
So when I wrote down like what the book was about, I tried not to do spoilers, but there is a little bit of a spoiler in here, and I think there's just no way of getting around it at this point. This is the 6th book, so
sure. So you're saying you're going to get spoilers from previous books, not necessarily book 6.
Okay. Yeah, if you were planning it, and it's not like a huge spoiler.
Okay,
it's just one of those where I'm going to say it, and you're going to be like,
I didn't know that yet.
Why is this a thing? So, if you are very anti-spoiler, maybe just skip ahead of this part.
Okay.
So, in this book, Peter is back from that case, the missing girls case in Herefordshire.
That's right.
And so he's come back to London. It's a couple months later, and there is no shortage in casework. So basically they're still looking for the faceless man. They're still looking for Leslie. And as they become more ingrained in like the day-to-day London police work, they're building relationships within other sections of the force. He's also learning magic and like stuff like that. So
he's still apprenticing. Yes.
He's still apprenticing, right.
Okay.
So all that, and now they have a new case. And the new case, one of the river goddesses from a previous book, her daughter is involved.
Okay.
And that puts Peter in a little bit of a hard spot because, one, he's dating the river goddess's sister.
Oh, yeah.
And he also owes her a favor from a previous book.
Okay.
Like a life debt almost.
Okay.
So, so he's kind of like in this book, he's in a little bit of a spot because of it. So, it's really good. mentioned earlier, getting into my thoughts now, I mentioned earlier, the day-to-day London police work. This book is especially interesting because whereas in like the first couple books, they were like, stop being weird. Magic isn't real. This isn't a real thing. Like, whatever. Now, all these other police officers have worked with them and seen them do magic and like stuff like that. So they're all like, they're getting like awareness training and like,
so it's like fully accepted in the police force now.
It's becoming more accepted.
And
so you get a lot more character interaction where it's not just like cloak and dagger stuff, right?
That's fun.
So I cannot emphasize, I know I've said it before, but I cannot emphasize more enough anything. Listen to these books. Don't read them. Listen to them. Kovna's voice, it gets better in every book.
Really?
Yeah, it's amazing. And his like abilities is always he's doing different accents for different like if you want to call it classes. So you have like the ultra wealthy to like the Cockney, and then
so the different like dialects of the English accent.
Different countries, there's some Scottish and Irish and I
have a question.
Go ahead.
In the future, would you listen to an audiobook by a different author if it is narrated by him?
Yes.
Like, do you think just the fact that it's narrated by him would draw you into a different book?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
He does a spectacular job. He's amazing. And his voices get better and better. I was actually doing some reading about this. I'm not 100% sure how factual it is because I've never been able to find the interview. Not that I haven't looked that hard, but like, I guess Ben Aaronovitch did an interview where he said that once he gets further into these books, he's actually writing some of the dialogue with Kovna's voice in mind.
Really?
Yeah, because
that's just really cool.
Yeah. So I love his voice. I love his work. Ben obviously loves his work.
Yeah.
If you're gonna read this book, listen to it. That's all.
Yeah. This is definitely where one of those situations, I know we've talked about it before, where a narrator could definitely like make or break a book. And also we questioned how much involvement the author has in choosing that, because obviously you would want somebody who's really good so that they don't ruin your book for everybody. That's really cool and interesting to hear that the author has such a love for the narrator of his books that he's like, oh, he would say this really well or something,
Yeah, like you said, everything that we've talked about in the past, we've always had like questions like, I wonder how often this happens. And it is nice to know that, the author had that in mind and was just like, it makes
I love that
a little bit better as you're listening to some of the things that he said, where it's like, this seems very tailored,
right up your alley.
Yeah.
When you finish the series, you should go and like try to find interviews and stuff like that specifically about that relationship or whatever.
Yeah, I most definitely will. But yeah, so there are triggers in this book. I didn't usually I start with that, but I was so excited. So, kind of like every other book in this series, there's a lot of murder. It is described through, exactly how it happened. So in some, it can be very graphic in some places. There is overdose in this book and drug use. So those are the main triggers. So in this book, the one thing that I am really happy about is they've finally identified the faceless man.
You know who it is now.
I know who it is.
Okay, good.
So I know in the last one, I was like, man, this feels like a reset. Like, why are we here? So he came back into this book and now we know who he is.
Okay.
But it's not so much that we know who he is, but we still don't know his motives.
Okay.
We don't know what his plans are. We don't know how Leslie plays into it. We don't know any of that stuff. We just know who he is now. And now they're like one step closer. Whereas before we were getting like, man, going into the 6th book and we're still trying to figure out who this guy is. Like,
yeah.
Man. So,
okay. So there's still a lot to figure out about him. There's still mystery around him. You just happen to know who he is now.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, good.
So, I rate this book. Man, I feel like it's not quite. I'd say it's a 4.5.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna round up to 5.
Okay.
So
nice.
5 cherry clafoutis.
Yes.
Clafoutis.
However you say it, I will accept it.
Right. So yes, go out and read this series. Listen to this series. Okay. So the next book I'm going to talk about is called The Jade Temptress.
Okay.
This is by Jeannie Lynn. Yeah. Okay. It's a Kindle Unlimited historical fantasy. I don't know. I just saw it and I liked the cover and I read the description and I'm like, all right, I could do this. So I was like, this will be a quick read. Yeah. So it is actually the 2nd book in the Ping Kang Lee mystery series.
Okay. Did you read the first?
Nope.
Okay.
I got about 10% into this when I was like, man, it feels like these people have history. And then I looked and I was like, oh, they do. They met in the first book.
Oh, no.
So,
okay.
I don't want to say that it ruined anything in this book or it took anything away. If I could do it all over, I don't even know if I would go and read the first book before reading this one because they do have history. From what I understand, is in the first book there is a murder and she is a suspect. And the gentleman in this book is a constable who is investigating. Now she ends up not being the person in the first book who committed the murder, but she is a main character. So
this is hilarious that you read a book too.
So yeah, it was not like I said. I got about I don't know 10% maybe in, and I was like, man. And then she was like, they start talking. They have a conversation about because this is like very long ago China. So you know, they're like talking about how like during interrogation they're allowed to use torture. And how he like put like pieces of bamboo in between her fingers and like would squeeze the bamboo
don't love that
to crush her fingers to get her to talk as an interrogation. And I was like, what? When did this happen? And I was like, no. I went back and I looked and I was like, oh, she was the suspect in book 1.
Oh gosh. That sounds fucking terrible.
Yeah. So book 2. Welcome to book 2, guys. The book follows. Her name is, and I really am sorry. I think it's Mingyu. She's a very beautiful, very gifted. She's a coveted hostess in the pleasure district.
Okay.
So she's a courtesan.
Good for her.
Yep. And and then there's Constable Wu, who is the one that I was telling you from before with the torture technique. So he's a constable with a questionable past. And he seems to be the only person who is who can resist Mingyu's charms.
Okay.
So yes. So that's how the book was described. And I was like, oh, this sounds great. You know, like I didn't know about the torture in book 1.
Right. Is her did you say it was fantasy? What did you say?
Historical.
Oh, historical fantasy.
And maybe it's not fantasy. Did I say fantasy? I did write down fantasies. Maybe it's not. I meant fiction. Historical fiction, guys.
Okay. Because I was like, what are her charms?
Magic charms.
Okay, so
she
just
is
historical
a leprechaun.
fiction. Ooh. All right.
I'm not on top of it today, guys. So, all right. So this book starts because Mingyu, she goes to visit her patron or her benefactor at his house.
Okay.
And when she gets there, she finds him already dead and his head has been cut off.
That's not great.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
So, this is unfortunate because this is
to say the least.
Now the second time that she is being investigated for murder by Constable Wu.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, some of the triggers already, but murder, it is described. There's suicide, poisonings, slavery, torture, all that kind of stuff.
There's a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot. Okay. So like I was saying earlier, if I was going to do this over, I don't know that I would go back and read number one. Mm-hmm. Like I said, there was a couple spots where I was like, you guys already know each other? And then, then a couple paragraphs later, it explained it all. So it does a pretty good job explaining, just like glossing over what happened in book one. I don't know that it's really necessary that you go back and read book one. I don't even think I'm going to, because it doesn't really seem to affect their relationship. She's kind of, when he like talks, like brings it up, he's like, oh, I did these bad things. And she's like, it was your job. And I was like, that's a very blasé way to be like.
Well, and I feel now like you're already past that story. So going back and reading book one doesn't really help you very much.
Right. Well, and if I was to do it over, right.
Oh, right. Yeah. Is it a series or a duology?
Series. I think there's 5 or 6 out there.
Okay.
But I didn't go and read any of the other descriptions. This one just popped up and I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, this book it's a mystery. There's a lot of politics, there's jealousy, everybody has a motive, there's red herrings everywhere. And then the killing kind of ends up to be out of left field, It's like a quiet motive that's not really talked about. It's just like as he's talking to the person, they're like, this was my motive for doing it. And you're like,
okay.
All these red herrings everywhere, and this was the guy. I don't know, maybe that's how it works in real life. But I enjoyed the story. I kind of liked both characters. It was okay. I'd say 3. Yeah, that's what I wrote down too. So like 3 cherry clafoutis.
Okay, great.
That's the plural of clafoutis. Clafoutis.
Okay, great.
In case you didn't know.
I totally believe you.
So, okay. Third book. This will be really quick. I think you know which book this is.
Yes.
Okay. 5 Broken Blades.
Yes.
It's by Mike Corland. It's Kindle Unlimited fantasy. This is book 1 in the Broken Blade series.
Yes.
We've already had a mini conversation about this.
We did. Because I saw on your Goodreads that you read it, and I was like, well, shit. Because I started it in January, and after I don't know, what did I say? 10 pages?
10 pages,
I don't even know how far. It was not very far. I was like, this is not for me. And I put it down. So I don't even count it as a DNF. I just count it as a did not start, because I feel like I didn't get enough into it to even count it. So I'm very interested to hear how you feel about it and what your thoughts are, because this isn't one of those ones that's very big on Bookstagram and Book Talk and stuff. I've seen it everywhere. It's highly, highly recommended. So that's why I picked it up. And I immediately could tell, I was I don't think I'm going to get into this. So please tell me.
All right. Okay. So this book is 3 storylines that all converge into one storyline, but it's told from 6 POVs.
Okay.
So it's kind of a lot. And because there's so many POVs, I think it takes I mean, this is a thought for later, but I think it just takes away from how much you get to learn about each character, right?
That makes sense, yeah.
So that being said, the first 80% of the book is trying to build that backstory, and then the last like 20% is the actual like book like purpose, if you want to call it, like what they all came to do, because the whole book is there's 5 assassins and they've all come together and they're going to pull off like the hardest job of all, and that is to kill an immortal king.
Okay.
So you have all these people, you're trying to give a lot of backstory. They all have a reason for agreeing to do it. It varies between like person to person. Like, you know, maybe it's for love, or, you know, like they're being paid, or maybe they're being coerced to do it.
So they all have their own motive behind this decision.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. And then at the end, it gets like heisty almost.
Okay.
Like they're just all there to pull off a heist. Like I said, I think there's too many POVs.
Yeah. For
this book, because it was already like 400 and something pages. So there's, like I was saying, there's 6 characters and they all break into pairs. So you end up like 2 of them end up together, 2 of them end up together, and 2 of them end up together. And that kind of like, they're all, like, if you want to say coupled that way. So it's like 3 love stories almost. I am not personally a fan of like heist type books. Like I don't like the red herrings. I don't like the look over here, but over here I'm doing something else that you don't get to hear about, right? Or you don't even know is going on in the background. I'm not really a fan of that type of mystery. So out of the 3 storylines, I was really only interested in one of them.
That's unfortunate.
The other one, there was another one that I was kind of half interested in, just because the girl has like an ability that is not quite clear what that ability is. She has like a magic ability. We don't know what it is until the very end. So I was interested to see what her magic ability is, but then like the third, it's just like a dude and he's an assassin and he has a sword that is on fire.
Oh, okay.
So, like I said, first 80, story building, introducing characters, making backstory. Really, I felt like it would have been a better book if there was maybe equal distribution of like time and explaining the backstory to all these people. There's a girl, she is a poison maiden, and her story I liked the best because it was the most unique. The love story wasn't unique, but her story was unique. And if you're okay with like a little bit of a spoiler right here, guys, and you want to flip forward just like a little bit, basically a poison maiden, I don't even know if this is a spoiler, but basically a poison maiden is she was given from childhood microdoses of poisons, deadly poisons. So now like her body is just like one giant poison, and she is an assassin, but basically she like wears lipstick that is like full of poison, and she like kisses these guys and they die right away, but nothing happens to her because she's been like introduced to it in small doses.
Yeah, so she's basically immune. Yeah. Well, so, shit. All right.
Her backstory is really interesting. You know, you guys can go back now. It's the other ones were just like one guy's like a thug, like a hired bodyguard. The other is like a thief, and there's like an assassin, and then there's like a prince, and you're like, okay, whatever. There's like some twisties at the end. But I saw them all. They weren't anything where I was like, oh wow, I did not see that coming. I don't know. I don't even think I'll read the second book. One, because the couple, the poison maiden and the guy that is like her partner, if you want to call it that, I don't think he's in the second book.
So
I don't I don't know, maybe he's in for part of it, but I don't think he's in the second book. So I would say even if I was going to read the second book, I wouldn't even call it a true read. I would skim, read her chapters and skim
stories,
and then skim the rest of the book, right?
Okay.
So yeah, I thought about DNFing this book.
Okay.
But my rule of giving it like 100 pages put me at like 35%. So I was just like, I don't hate it that much. It's just, the other, half of the book isn't really that interesting to me. So yeah, I rated it between 2 and 3, probably closer to 3, but maybe a 2.5.
Well, you did not convince me to pick it back up.
Not even for 2 cherry clafoutis?
No, I will eat that. Oh, okay. No, I will eat that, but I will not pick up the book.
All right.
I would have needed, because of how much I did not care about the first however many pages I read, I would have needed you to be like, I loved this book, for me to be interested in going back and trying again.
Okay,
so
that's fair.
And you were not. So, okay, my turn?
Yes.
Okay, let me get comfortable or re-comfortable. Okay,
preparation mode.
Yes. Okay, I read The Forgotten Earth by Brilynn O'Neill. I read it on Kindle Unlimited. It's a dystopian fantasy. And it was released in the beginning of February, and it's her first book. So it's a new author, just released, all of the things. I actually saw this book on her, like, randomly on my Instagram, and it was her promoting her new book. And she got me. So I read it.
Nice.
Okay, and it is part of a series, but there is no obviously this book just came out, and being a new author and everything, there's no news or anything like that of when the next book would come out. But it is a book 1, so just keep it in mind. Okay, so we are in a dystopian world. The Earth has basically died, and the old world has become forgotten. So, like, how people, like, gardened and, like, all of that stuff, like, all of that is kind of old and forgotten, and nobody really knows how to do those things anymore. There's no like organic plants on the planet anymore, no animals, like, all of that. Like, yeah, it's very like supremely dystopian.
Wow.
Yes. So there's a group of people who are called the elites, and they kind of run everything. So that's like, the elites are the ones who, like, are the ones in power, the ones with money, the ones with whatever. They get to decide who goes where, like who lives where, who gets what supplies, like all that kind of stuff. So the book follows a girl named Willow, and Willow and a guy named Liam. So it's a dual point of view. And Willow is not an elite. She is, like, in the lower class of society. She works in a lab that tries to help grow food. So the people in the lab, they have to try to grow food. They really don't even know how to grow food. It's like they're trying to figure out, like, the best way to grow a surplus of food, basically. And in her spare time, she likes to sneak out of the city to a library, and that is abandoned, and it's basically off limits because books are banned in this world. So it's illegal for them to have them, to read them, to all of it. So she sneaks out a lot, and she does bring them back sometimes, but her whole goal, she wants to go and, like, read about plants and stuff like that. Like, she wants to read about the old world. So that's what she does. So our other POV in the book is Liam. He is a soldier, and he is a great one at that. He's strong and fast, and he kind of just does what he's told to, so he kind of like falls in line. He's also a very broken man.
Oh.
Yeah, so he's basically just going with the motion, like doing what he's told, because he literally doesn't have anything else to do. Like, he's lost his wife, he's lost his hope, like he's lost everything. So, one day the town and the soldiers are told that they're leaving, and they're arming the lower class with weapons to fight against these things called clegs. I think that's how you say it. So it's spelled Claeg.
Okay.
So clegs. And there's like hundreds of them outside of the wall. And clegs are like, they look human, but they have gray skin that like sags off of their bones. And they kill and eat humans. So they're not lovely. And the lower class is basically like, in this instance, like a sacrifice to go out first and kill as many of them as they can, because then the soldiers have been tasked to get the elite out, and they're going to head to a different city. Okay, so Willow and her bestie Olivia manage to escape. So they get out into the wall, they have their weapon, they like make their way around, and they get into this little safe space where they actually run into Liam, who's decided that it's time to no longer follow what the elite and the soldiers are saying. He's like, I'm gonna get out of here, I'm gonna run away. His plan was to just run away on his own, but then Willow and Olivia showed up. And they both want to find like a new civilization. They want to find other people who are like them, who are not necessarily on board with the way that the current empire is being ran. And so that's their whole plan. So basically the whole rest of the book follows this journey as they learn more about the world, because none of them have really ever left this little city that they're in. He has a little bit, but less so the other two. And so learn more about the world, themselves, their magic that they may have. Yeah, so Willow actually has some unexpected earth magic that just like arises in her. And there's something with Liam that's a little unexplainable that is kind of like lends itself to him being like a really good soldier, being very strong and fast and all that. And the whole time they're they're on this journey, they're ultimately being hunted because one, because he's a great soldier and they know that he left, so they're like looking for him out there. And they also know that there's something up with Willow. They don't know about her magic, but they do know that like when she was trying to get food to grow, like she was always able to wield a little bit more than everyone else. And so they know there's something about her, and so they're hunting her as well.
So she's suspicious.
Yes, it's very suspicious. Okay, so my thoughts on this book. There are a few issues with this book for me. The world building needs a little bit of work. I have a lot of questions about it. Most of them are spoilers, so I don't really want to like say anything because it would be very spoiler of me to tell you what all of my problems are.
Okay.
But there's a lot specifically with like the magic. Like it's not super well explained, like how the magic really works or how it showed up, or like why her and not anyone else, literally.
Right.
And there's also a connection between Willow and Liam that is unexplained through the whole book. So the connection that is there is explained, but not like what it means or like how or why it's there. And then we also have a lot of questions about Liam specifically. So we never really get a whole lot of information on him. We just know that there's something different about him, but no explanation as to what.
All right.
So there's that. The ending is also a little crazy, which I didn't hate, but it was a little wild.
Like over the top wild, or just like
yeah,
okay,
yeah, a little over the top. And then, I'm questioning where the story is gonna go for book 2 because the epilogue jumps into the future and kind of like closes out the story. Like it jumps forward enough in the future. And so when the story itself actually ended, I really saw where it could go. Like understood what the next piece could be. And then as soon as the epilogue happened, I was like, okay, well, you just jumped in the future and you just canceled out all of that. So I'm confused, but I will say, after everything I just told you, I fucking loved this book. Yes. So, I know that all of my negatives were misleading, but none of the stuff that I had questions about or anything like that were enough for me to dislike the book. Like, yes, I have questions. Yes, I want those answered. I would hope that they're answered in the future. Now I'm a little confused as to whether or not I'm going to get those answers. But I fucking loved it. Like, I couldn't put it down. I enjoyed all of the characters. The whole way through, I was just like engrossed in this book. And so I definitely want more.
She needs to write her book.
Yes, write it right now. I think I wanted more from it, and I think it could have definitely benefited from like more world building, more whatever, but what I have of it, I loved it. So because I had so many like whatever's about it, I feel like I can't give it 5, but I want to give it like a 4.75 and round up to 5. Yeah, I really want to give it a solid 5, but I feel like I have so many questions about it. So all of my questions are making me feel uneasy about giving it full 5 yasso bars. But I don't know. Ask me on a different day and I might say 5.
Okay. All right. I'll ask you tomorrow. Yeah, because I send you a text.
Okay, great. Well, because since I finished it, I finished it on February 27th and today is March 5th. And so in those days, I have gone back and forth at least 4 times.
Wow.
Of what I want to rate it because I really, really, really enjoyed it. Like, maybe some of it is like that post-read kind of feeling where like if you ask me while I was reading it, it was 5 stars, no doubt.
Oh,
but yeah. Once I have like take a step back from it and realize all of the questions that I didn't get answered, is what I make it 4.75. But yeah, I really want these answers. I want them right now. But I did end up ordering the book. So she's selling the book on her site as a new author and like all that stuff. I really want to just support her and I really loved it. So I did order like her special edition that she has on her, I think it's a signed special edition that she has on her website. And so, yeah, I really, really loved it. And I'm sad that I don't have all the answers.
Yeah. That's like, man, to come into a book series in the first book and for it to hit like a home run like that, you're like, oh, no.
Yes, I'm sucked in now.
Now I have to wait. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. The end.
And that is all I have to say about that.
Yes, it is. I feel like I want to say more, but I need someone to read this book and DM us or email us and talk to me about it, because I want to have all of the conversations about it. Okay, thank you.
Get to work.
Yes, please. Okay, so are you ready for our question?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Will you read a book review if it has spoilers, or would you rather know nothing? I think I'm a little confused by the question.
Okay.
Because how do you know it has spoilers before you read it?
That's a good point. Well, I mean, if you read a review and it had spoilers and nobody told you, how would you feel?
Oh, a review.
What was the question?
Oh, why? I read it as a description.
Oh, I heard review.
It says review, but in my head, I read it as, like, I said it to myself as, like, the book description.
Oh, okay.
Don't pay attention to me. We're done here. Okay, review. No, I will not.
I was going to say, because I already knew the answer for you. As soon as you read it, I was like, oh, I know what the answer is, Vanessa's.
100%. Yep. No,
yes,
won't
you've
read
made
it.
Very clear that you are non-spoiler.
I'm 100% anti-spoiler.
Right. I don't mind having spoilers in reviews or descriptions or whatever, as long as I know up front. I don't want to be surprised because sometimes I want to know, sometimes I don't want to know. Sometimes I feel like they're misleading. So
yes.
I think for me, I don't mind them, and I'm not anti or pro. If you're gonna do it, that's cool, but just let me know.
Yeah, it definitely, if you're gonna give spoilers, because I do put spoilers in my reviews on Goodreads, but I always do like the hidden thingy on there so that it's not like, even on Goodreads, like Goodreads gives you the option of putting that in there to where it's hidden from people, and people still just write like at the top. Sometimes they'll just put spoiler in review. Like, that's not enough for me. I need you to hide it. I need it to be completely gone for when I'm scrolling through. Exactly. So like, use that feature that they have in there. I don't I don't know. So yes, definitely, I agree with you. I do like to read spoiler reviews after I've read a book.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. See what everybody else is saying. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But before there are very, very, very few books that I have ever actively seeked out spoilers for before I've finished a book. And sometimes it's because I hate it so much that I need to know what I'm like, should I finish it? Or like, there's something so stressful or like giving me so much anxiety about it that I'm like, just tell me if this happens. Just let me know.
Yeah, just put me out of my misery. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But that's probably happened, I'm going to guess, like 3 times in my whole reading life. So yeah, it's not, otherwise spoilers, and I hate them for everything, for TV, for movies, for books. Like, I get pissed off when I get spoilers on things.
Yeah. Well, I know I said this in the last episode when I was talking about how I read ahead in the descriptions, because I was looking, like, just going to buy all of the books, and I saw the way it was described in the description of the book was not quite accurate. So then I had like a panic attack because I thought a main character was gonna die, and I was so distraught for the whole book, and I couldn't. It hurt to listen to the book because it was just like, when is
you were like anxious?
when is this guy gonna die? Like, I need to know when I have to mentally prepare myself because I've attached myself to this character. And yeah.
That's so do you actively seek them out ever, or
I wouldn't say I actively seek them out, but
okay.
Because I like to go and read what other people think about books afterwards. I don't usually read like reviews before I read the book. I will look at what the star rating is on like Goodreads.
Yes,
I will always look at that and see what it is.
Yep. I do that for sure. So I guess I have read some reviews before, specifically ones that are non-spoilery though, of books that I'm like considering reading. I'll just read like the first couple lines of some people's like non-spoiler reviews. Definitely never spoilers though. Where like I want to know, I think I need to have a conversation with our friend Hannah about this, because Miss Hannah likes to read the last page of a book before she starts the book, which is like a massive spoiler, right? Yeah. So I need, and then I also used to have a friend that would Google like in the middle of a book, instead of waiting for like a twist to happen, she would Google it. And so I used to have like an agreement with her that she would ask me what the twist was before, because then at least I could control the spoilers that she got. I was anti-spoiler for her as well. There you go. So I didn't want her to know all of the things. So I was like, just ask me before you Google it. But yeah, I feel like I need to have a conversation with people who really like the spoilers, because I want to know why. Why do you want to do that to yourself?
That being said, tell us your thoughts.
Yes.
Explain yourself.
Email us. Yes, exactly. Send us an email or something and let us know. Go to savorthestorypod.com and tell us, what do you like spoilers? Do you actively seek them out? Do you actively avoid them? Do you tell us everything, please? And also go to all of our socials and go to our things and like us and 5 stars us and thumbs ups us and
watch our video.
We love
so you can see my new cat sweater.
Yes, do that. And that's it.
Yay!
Right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's it. So thanks everybody. Bye.
Get out of here. Goodbye.